I challenge you to be completely honest with yourself for the next 10 minutes or so as I go through these 7 signs of emotional abuse. Don't make excuses or rationalize away your experiences. Don't tell yourself it's not that bad or that every relationship has problems. Just listen and notice what resonates with you. This might be the most important video you'll watch this year because recognizing these patterns is the first step towards reclaiming your power and your sense of self. Are you ready to face the truth about what's actually been happening in your relationship? Hi there, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm Nidhi Kapoor. Before we carry on with this video, I've got a small gift for you. In the description box below, you will find the link to download my free guide on how to live your best life. Now, let's get on with today's video. You know that feeling when someone says they're doing something because they love you, but it doesn't feel loving at all. Maybe they're checking your phone every day, or they get upset when you make plans with friends. They tell you it's because they care so much, because they worry about you. But deep down, something feels off. This is how emotional abuse starts. It doesn't begin with screaming or obvious cruelty. It starts with behaviors that look like love but cross your boundaries. The person doing it seems so concerned, so protective. They make you feel special at first, like you're the center of their world. But slowly, that attention becomes a cage. The first sign you need to watch out for is excessive monitoring. This goes way beyond the normal curiosity about your day. We're talking about someone who needs to know where you are every minute. Want your passwords to everything. They show up at your work unexpectedly to surprise you. They track your location on your phone and get angry if you don't respond to their texts within minutes. They go through your messages, your emails, your social media, everything. And when you object, they say they just love you so much that they can't help themselves. The second sign is isolation from your support system. This one is sneaky because it often starts with what seems like reasonable preferences. They don't really like your best friend because she's a bad influence, or they think your family is too involved in your business. They'd rather spend time just the two of you because you're so special together. Gradually, they make you feel guilty every time you want to see other people. They might pick fights right before you're supposed to meet friends. They might act hurt or sulk when you choose to spend time with someone else. And here's what makes this so dangerous. Abusers are masters at framing control as care. They convince you that their jealousy means they love you more than anyone else ever has. They tell you that other people don't understand your relationship. They make you believe that wanting privacy or independence means you don't love them enough. You start questioning your own judgment. Maybe you're being selfish for wanting to see your friends. Maybe you should be more grateful that someone cares about you this much. The psychological impact of isolation hits you harder than you ever realize. Your friends and family are your reality check. They are the people who remind you of who you are outside this relationship. When that support system gets cut off, you lose perspective. You have nobody to talk to about the things that concern you. You become completely dependent on your abuser's version of reality. These behaviors escalate so gradually that you don't notice the pattern. Month by month, your world gets smaller. You stop making plans because it's easier than dealing with the drama. You stop sharing details about your day because you're just tired of the interrogation. You start to believe that this level of control is actually normal in relationships. Research shows that isolation tactics work by increasing your emotional and practical dependence on the abuser. When you have fewer outside connections, you're more likely to accept their behavior as normal. You have fewer people to turn to for help or perspective. Real love doesn't require you to give up your independence. It doesn't ask you to choose between your partner and everyone else in your life. Healthy relationships encourage your connections with others and respect your need for privacy and autonomy. But isolation is just the beginning. Next comes something even more damaging to your sense of self. Imagine having a conversation where you walk away questioning everything you thought you knew about what just happened. You remember saying one thing, but they insist you said something completely different. You felt hurt by their comment, but they tell you that you're overreacting. You start to wonder if your memory is actually playing tricks on you. This brings us to the third and the fourth sign of emotional abuse: gaslighting and constant criticism, disguised as helpful suggestions. You see, these tactics work together to make you doubt your own mind. Gaslighting happens when someone manipulates you into questioning your sanity and perception of reality. They deny events that actually happened. They distort facts to fit their version of the story. They twist your words until you can't remember what you originally meant. Picture this scenario. You have an argument on Tuesday night. On Friday, you bring it up because it's still bothering you. They look at you with genuine confusion and say, "That never happened. You're just imagining things." But you remember it clearly. The location, what you were wearing, the exact words that were used. Yet they seem so certain that you start to doubt yourself. The phrases they use become weapons. "You're just being too sensitive. That never happened." Or "You're crazy if you think I said that." Or "You always blow things out of proportion." "I never did that. You must be confused." You see, these statements, they don't just dismiss your feelings. They attack your ability to trust your own experience. While the criticism starts small, they suggest you might want to change your hairstyle because it could look better. Or they mention that your laugh is just a bit loud in restaurants. They point out that you interrupt people sometimes. At first, these seem like caring observations from someone who wants to help you improve. But the suggestions, they never stop coming. And soon there's something wrong with how you dress, how you talk, how you handle money, how you drive, how you cook, how you clean. Every day brings new feedback about what you're doing wrong. They frame it as love. "I only tell you these things because I care about you. Other people are just too polite to be honest." And you start to believe that without their guidance, you'd be making mistakes everywhere. This psychological warfare targets your most basic ability to trust yourself. When someone constantly tells you that your feelings are wrong or that you're overreacting, you lose confidence in your own emotions. You second guess every response you have. You start asking them how you should feel about things instead of trusting your gut. This creates a mental fog where you can't trust your own perception. You become totally dependent on them to tell you what's real and what isn't. You stop bringing up problems because you're tired of being told you're making mountain out of molehills. Research shows that gaslighting literally changes brain patterns and decision-making abilities. Your mind starts to rely on external validation instead of internal knowing. The victim may internalize the abuser's negative statements and beliefs, leading them to believe they are wrong, stupid, or crazy. You might find yourself thinking, maybe I'm just too sensitive, or maybe I do remember things wrong, or maybe I should be grateful that someone cares enough to help me see my flaws. You see, if you're constantly questioning your own reality, that's a major red flag. Healthy relationships don't make you doubt your sanity. They don't require you to get permission to trust your own feelings. Once they've got you doubting yourself, they move on to the next level of control. What happens when you start making decisions based not on what you want, but on what will avoid their anger? When you catch yourself thinking, "I better not do that because it will set them off," or "I need to be careful how I say this," you have entered the final trap of emotional abuse. The fifth, sixth, and seventh sign work together to create a prison without bars. These are threats, financial control, and emotional blackmail. And each one builds on the others to make leaving feel absolutely impossible. Threats in emotional abuse don't always involve physical violence. They're often subtle and indirect. Your abuser might say things like, "I don't know what I'd do if you ever left me," while staring at you with intensity. They might mention how other people who crossed them regretted it. They could threaten to destroy something you care about, ruin your reputation at work, or tell everyone your secrets. Some abusers threaten to hurt themselves if you don't comply with their demands. Others use your children as weapons, suggesting they'll fight for custody or turn the kids against you. Financial abuse works by controlling your access to money, credit, or employment. Maybe they insist on handling all the finances because they're better with money. They might monitor every purchase you make and question why you spent $5 on coffee. Some abusers prevent their partners from working by creating drama that makes keeping a job impossible. Others control the bank accounts completely, giving you an allowance like you're a child. They might run up debt in your name or destroy your credit score. This creates financial dependence that makes leaving seem impossible because you have no resources. Emotional blackmail. This one takes many forms. The abuser might threaten self-harm whenever you try to set boundaries. They use guilt as a weapon, telling you how much you're hurting them by wanting independence. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me?" Or, "You're the only good thing in my life, don't abandon me." They make you feel responsible for their emotional state and well-being. These tactics create learned helplessness through unpredictable consequences. Sometimes they explode over small things. Other times they ignore major issues. You never know what will trigger their anger, so you start walking on eggshells constantly. You modify your behavior, your speech, even your thoughts to avoid setting them off. But it doesn't work because the rules always keep changing. This unpredictability creates something called trauma bonding. Your brain gets addicted to the relief you feel when they're finally calm or loving again. The cycle of tension, explosion, and then kindness creates a psychological attachment that's hard to break. You start to believe you're responsible for their emotions. You think if you just love them enough or do things right, they'll stop being abusive. Research shows that victims often feel responsible for their abuser's emotions because of this trauma bonding. The abuser alternates between terrible behavior and acts of kindness. They might give you exaggerated compliments, big gifts or trips, or telling you that they can't live without you. This keeps you hoping that things will get better. You see, living in fear of someone's reactions means you're not in a relationship. You're being controlled. Real partners don't make you feel afraid to be yourself or to express your needs. Now that hopefully you can see the full picture, let's talk about what this means for you. And here is the truth that might surprise you. Recognizing these signs doesn't make you weak. It makes you aware. And awareness is the first step to reclaiming your power. So trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Start documenting patterns you notice. Write down specific incidents with dates and details. This isn't about building a case against someone. It's about validating your own experience when that doubt creeps in. Reach out for support when you're ready. You don't have to figure this out alone. You deserve relationships built on respect, not fear. Healing is absolutely possible, and it starts with believing you're worth more than living in constant anxiety about someone else's reactions. Well, that's it for this video. I really hoped it helped someone out there. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care.